Okay, so this is my Werewolf by Night review, and maybe I'm a bit macabre in my humor, but I found this show to be absolutely hilarious. And um I think a part of it is because it was in the vein of these old 50s, 60s horror movies, which if you've ever watched, they're unintentionally funny. So I think in that vein, this was supposed to be unintentionally funny, even though I'm pretty sure everybody knew that, yeah, it's funny. So it starts off with Jack walking into a funeral for Ulysses Bloodstone. And he's walking around looking at all the sights and probably thinking, gulp, I know these people. Um, and the other hunters are greeting him, asking him. He's being very quiet. You don't even hear him talk. So I started to wonder if he even does talk. But they're talking with him and asking about his face paint and that he is honoring his ancestors. So the funeral starts. Well, first off, um, Jack, we find out, is not very bright because he first tries to grab at the bloodstone and someone stops him by talking to him, thankfully, because we find out later what it does to him. How can he not know this? Seriously. You crash a funeral of monster hunters and you don't bother to research the bloodstone? But anyway, so the stepmother comes to greet Elsa, and she, along with her husband, consider her to be a disappointment because she's not following in the family line, which is monster hunting, because the assumption is all monsters are evil. So Elsa basically says, yeah, I still train, just not under him. Um, so we so then there's this introduction. Ulysses comes to life and tells them about the ceremonial hunt and that the winner will get the bloodstone because it's not Elsa's to just take because she abandoned the family. And Elsa, being hilarious, would just grab a chair, drag it on the floor, and just being a brat, which I found to be hilarious. And heck, I even thought that the voiceover at the beginning was absolutely hilarious, that he was trying so hard to be dramatic, and I just found it to be hysterical. So, um, everybody's up in arms that Elsa's there because everybody else was invited. They have a resume, and she's just there because of bloodlines. And she's like, they're both parents are like, yeah, she's here, but she's not going to just automatically get the bloodstone. She has to earn it just like anybody else. So Jack looks like, gulp, I don't really like being here, which makes you wonder why he's there. And it turns out, so he gets the honor of going first. And I thought, oh, this is going to end badly. And I'm just waiting for when he's going to transform. Because I was under the impression he can actually control that when he transforms. So I was expecting him to transform and either become a hunter or attack the hunters. And so he's just walking around, and then there were these two hunters, the male hunters, who seemed more interested in hunting Elsa than they were in hunting Ted, Man-Thing. And so she kills one of the hunters, and he finds Ted and basically tells Ted, oh, for crying out loud, I have to keep saving you, even though you tell me you're not going to get yourself into trouble. And so he ends up getting trapped with Elsa. Now, it's not shown how Elsa got trapped in there. I mean, last we saw of her, she was hiding from this other hunter, the one who initially spoke with Jack. So we don't see how she ended up in the mausoleum. And so they're trapped, and so Jack tries to make a deal with her. She helps release Man-Thing, release Ted, and she can have the bloodstone. He doesn't want it. He's not a hunter. And she said, neither am I. So it's never explained why she wants the bloodstone then. I can only assume that she wants to stop the hunts. And the only way to stop is to take control of the bloodstone. So she figures out a way out by thinking that there's a set of keys in her crazy aunt's crypt, because her father kept threatening that she was going to come back to life. Okay, so they get out, and Jack has an explosive device, and he's asking her how to turn it on. And she's about to show him, and the idiot turns it on. I was under the impression that Jack was going to be even, halfway intelligent. He's not. He's an idiot. But at least he understands that he is. He mentions later on that he's an idiot. Actually, he mentions it a couple times. So he's not able to stick it on the wall, so he puts it in one of the crevices. Elsa gets to Ted, and at first she's freaked out, but she calls him by his name, and he calms down. And so she said that your friend's waiting for you, so they go to Jack, and the explosion works, and Man-Thing hightails it out of there. And I thought that it was going to be, the show was going to be Man-Thing and Werewolf by Night versus the Hunters. Well, and Elsa, because she obviously is not interested in killing monsters, even though they scare the crap out of her. And she doesn't like monsters, but at the same time, she's not one to just out and out kill them. So I'm still not sure why she wants to stop the hunts. Maybe deep down she knows that not all monsters are bad guys. It's still not clear. But Jack, being the dumbass that he is, tries to grab the bloodstone. I'm sure he was just trying to be gentlemanly, grab it so he can hand it to Elsa. But he gets shot back by it. He gets thrown back, and the stepmother realizes that he himself is a monster, which freaks Elsa out. And they put them both in a cage, hoping that the bloodstone will transform him and he will in turn kill Elsa. So, as the stepmother and the others are coming to perform the ceremony to transform Jack, because they don't know at this point he's a werewolf. They just know he's a monster. So, stupid phone. So, he quickly grabs Elsa and starts sniffing her. And I'm just like, okay, this is obviously not during the time of the Me Too movement, because if I were Elsa, I'd be like, what the hell? And she was like, what the hell? But at the same time, she's letting him do it because Jack is at the same time explaining that he wants to remember her. Remember her scent. Okay. So he transforms, and the stepmother starts cackling because I guess this was to prepare us for potentially how bad the CGI would look on him or something. Or she thought that he was going to be something more terrorizing than a werewolf. I'm not sure. But he's standing there, and she's cackling, and he grabs her. And I thought that he was going to kill her. He doesn't. She gets away. But he manages to escape by bending the bars at the top of the cage. And so then it becomes him indiscriminately attacking the hunters and what looked like TVA agents, which, okay, that made no sense. Maybe they just looked like TVA agents, because they certainly had the same type of weapon TVA agents seem to use, only it doesn't seem to cull anything. So anyway, just electricity. So like I said, I was disappointed that Man-Thing just took off because I was expecting a team up. So Elsa is joining in on the fun of beating the crap out of hunters and, well, killing them. And it looks like the stepmother was going to kill Jack because he kept running at her and she kept hitting him with the bloodstone. And I'm just like, this isn't working, Jack. What do you think you're accomplishing here? And so Elsa hooks her stepmother and pulls her back. And I thought she killed her. So she picks up the bloodstone and then asks Jack if he's still there. And he immediately attacks her. But then she puts her hand on his face, and then he starts remembering who she is. So there's that pause that that these shows have to show, I don't know, sexual tension or something, dramatic effect. And so he takes off. And the stepmother looks like she's going to kill Elsa because she's pissed off that Elsa let him get away, because, again, she assumes he must be a bad guy because, which is strange that she assumed he has killed innocent people, because when it was said that he was a hunter, she seemed perfectly fine with that. But anyway, Man-Thing finally shows up again and kills her. This time truly and utterly kills her. And throws her into her husband, actually. and his head comes off. So she so he's just looking at Elsa and I guess asking her, where's Jack? So she tells him he went that way. And the butler then confronts her and apologizes and says, I only want to serve you. So obviously this man has no loyalty whatsoever. He's just like, yeah, I just work at the Bloodstone Manor. Whoever happens to be the master of the manor, I'm cool with that. I'll do it. So she asks him to clean up the mess, and then you see her, and her jacket goes from black and white to red. And you start hearing Judy Garland Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I'm just like, what the hell? Why? And then we cut to Man-Thing sitting at a campfire and Jack in a teepee waking up like he's completely hungover. He rolls out of bed and he has a cloak on. It's not clear whether he has clothes underneath that cloak because naked werewolf. So it could be that he was naked when he transformed back. And I guess that's what brings him back is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I'm guessing. So Man-Thing hands him a cup, which maybe coffee, maybe tea. It looked like he had a coffee carafe. So I'm guessing coffee. And asking him if he wants food. And he's like, yeah, I can't think of food right now. He asks if Elsa is okay. Man-Thing assures him that she's fine. And then they start talking and he starts laughing. So I expected Ted to chastise him for having a thing for Elsa or something. But no, Man-Thing was chastising him for him needing to save him. Whereas Jack is like, no, it was the other way around. I saved you. And I'm like, you saved each other. Now stop it. So that's how it ends. And, so yeah, this is much more comedic than I expected. I mean, there was plenty of horror, plenty of gore, but somehow it didn't seem to, well, one seemed to irk me when Elsa put the sword in that one hunter's brain. I don't know, maybe if it went through her, it wouldn't have bothered me so much. But for some reason, that one bothered me. That one's like, otherwise, I'm like, okay, cool. So, yeah, that was a very bizarre, very interesting special presentation. So, I read that Werewolf by Night will be making other crossover appearances. So I hope that Elsa and Man-Thing do too. I don't see why not. And for those who are not aware, she has a brother, Cullen. That's a whole story. And he crosses paths with Captain Britain and his sister Betsy, who's a mutant. So I guess this is another nod to the fact that they're introducing mutants. Or they're just going to, or this is just a nod to be introducing Morgan Le Fay and Otherworld and that mysticism. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see where they take this because Phase 4, because this was the last TV, Disney Plus series or show in this case that takes place in phase 4. So we just had the season finale of She-Hulk to go in this phase. The last 2 projects are Wakanda Forever and the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which no, I am not watching. I do not watch Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not watching the special. I am going to watch Wakanda Forever eventually, but I don't normally do reviews for movies unless I'm really excited about it, so maybe. But so yeah, basically phase 4 was spreading itself, really far and wide with the different types of teams that it was introducing, different types of characters. So it's going to be interesting to see what they move forward with. What's going to take or what was a one-off. And I'm talking mainly about characters, not so much the teams. So, I believe that's all I have for this show. Like I said, I'm kind of bummed because I expected more horror-y, but I guess because everything in the MCU is supposed to be PG-13, or in this case TV-14, I guess there was only so much they could do. But it was all right. It was a nice introduction, and hopefully we'll see more of the characters and expand on that universe, and hopefully it'll get better. So that's all for this one, and I will see you for Andor and She-Hulk.